Hello, this is Jay Benephilo, and today we're going to be learning about federalism. We're working off of standard SSCG 5. The student will demonstrate knowledge of the federal system of government described in the United States Constitution. Well, this begs the question, what is federalism? Unlike a unitary system of government where power is mostly consolidated in the national government, and also unlike a confederal system in which power is mostly consolidated in the states, a federal system of government is one in which power is separated between the national government and the state governments. Imagine, if you will, there's a national government, and surrounding it are the state governments. The national government has certain powers to itself, and the state governments are given the other powers. The lines of power go both ways. In a sense, they're sharing power. You have the national government and you have the state governments. They overlap in certain areas, but they have their own spheres of influence. The Constitution grants them certain powers, but it also denies them certain powers. The powers which are granted by the Constitution to the national government are called delegated powers. Those granted to the state governments are called reserved powers. They also have concurrent powers, powers which they both may use. Now, the delegated powers are expressed powers, those which are spelled out in the Constitution, implied powers, which are not written in the Constitution but are reasonably suggested by it, and inherent powers, those which are not written in the Constitution but belong to national governments in general. Now, reserved powers, those come from the 10th Amendment. There are also powers which are denied the nation and which are denied the states, and those which are denied both. Of the delegated powers, the express powers are found in Article 1, Section 18, which has 18 clauses giving 27 powers, which includes but is not limited to the power to tax, coin money, regulate trade, declare war, and grant patents. Now, the implied powers are found in Article 1, Section 18, Clause 18, which is also known as the Elastic Clause. It gives Congress the power to do all things necessary and proper to maintain the government. This includes the power to build dams, build highways and roads, and determine crimes. Inherent powers are those which are inherent to a nation, those powers which belong to national governments in general. These include the power to regulate trade, regulate immigration, grant diplomatic recognition to nations, and protect the nation. Now, the reserved powers, those come from the 10th Amendment. The 10th Amendment says that all powers not granted to the federal government but not denied to the states belong to the states themselves. This includes legal marrying age, legal drinking age, professional licenses, and the confiscation of property. There are also powers which are given concurrently to both the national government and the state governments. They may be exercised separately or simultaneously. It gives the power to collect taxes, define crimes, and condemn or take private property for public use, such as with eminent domain. Now then, there are powers which are denied the nation. These powers are such as being able to tax the states themselves. You can have a national tax, but you can't tax individual states more than others, because otherwise the nation might try to tax a state out of existence. The same goes for powers denied to the states. The states are not allowed to tax the federal government. There are other powers as well. Things which are denied, both of them, are things which infringe on individual rights, such as those enumerated in the Bill of Rights, the freedom of speech, freedom of press, things of that nature. Now then, the powers which are given in the Constitution to the federal government are exclusive to the federal government. This means that the states cannot have the powers which are expressed in the Constitution for the federal government. They can't coin their own money. They can't regulate immigration. Those are powers for the national government. Now, all of this is backed up by the Supremacy Clause, which is in Article 6, Section 2 of the Constitution. The U.S. Constitution is the supreme law of the land. This means that county and city laws do not supersede state laws, state constitutions, acts of Congress, all the way up to the United States Constitution. If there is a conflict between a lower law and a higher one, the higher one always wins, all the way up to the United States Constitution. We also aren't the only country to practice federalism. We're joined by Canada, Mexico, Brazil, Germany, Russia, India, and Australia, just to name a few. This map shows all of the countries in the world which practice a federal government. While we aren't the most numerous, we do hold several positions of importance. Federalism, since its inception, has become one of the major forms of government throughout the world. I hope that you've learned something about federalism. I would like to take time to give credit to Microsoft PowerPoint and ClipArt, who made this presentation possible, and also to Wikipedia and Local Profil for the map of the federal states, which is found at this URL. Thank you very much for listening. This has been Jay Benephilo, signing off.